Straight Penitentiary. I'm your host, the co-host of 15 to the Streets, man. It's good to be here with y'all.
What's happening? What's happening? What's happening? City
Got
Sid
anything
in the
you
house.
want to say? Sid out the door? You want to?
City Sid's in the house, man. We out. Let me rephrase that. City Sid is on the roof deck, man. We doing it from headquarters, from HQ today, man. And we got my man Lucky here, and he's ready to do his thizzle.
Right. Shout out to the hoodie. I love the hoodie. Get y'all hoodies. I'm excited about today because I got a friend here, Brad, and I want him. He got an interesting story to me. I've been knowing him for a long time, and I feel like this is what friends supposed to do. Like, friends is supposed to give exposure to other friends. You know what I'm saying? And that's just real shit. We all out here, and everybody trying to make it. You know what I'm saying? Everybody trying to get by. So for me to have him come and for him to have time to come, that's a big deal. That's a big deal. So we on some friend shit today. But man, Brad, tell him a little something.
What's going on? How you doing?
Wonderful, man.
It feels good outside today. It's a pleasure to be here, but I want to thank y'all for the invite. So just to kind of get into my story, it's funny it's 15 to the street. Yeah, I was 15 when I went to prison. I got waived to the adult system at 15. I had an armed robbery, attempted homicide. And I got waived into the adult system in 9th grade. I was 15, like I said, and I got 25 years. I wound up serving 17 years and 3 months in total. I've been home since 2016, so about 8 years, and I just recently discharged off parole on the 30th of last month. So that's the backstory in a nutshell.
How does it feel? Like, this is just for real. Like, how I feel, because getting out of prison and being released from parole, like being off of parole, those are two complete different worlds. Like, explain that for a minute, because I don't think people understand that. Like, when you get out of prison, that's not free. Like, free is what you just experienced. Like, speak to that, because that's important.
So getting out, I always knew I was gonna get out. I mean, obviously, most of us have release dates, but some of us don't, obviously. But so getting out was exciting for me because I was ready to just take on the challenges of being an adult and paying bills. Because before I went and I was gone all them years, I had never driven on the freeway. I had never paid no bills, never changed oil, none of that. So I was just up for the challenge of being an adult or doing anything that could be considered adjacent to adult responsibility. So when I came home, I was excited for that reason alone, if nothing else. But discharging, I remember thinking to myself, I can't wait till I turn 42 because I know I'll be getting on paper. It wasn't even the birthday. It was just like, man, I know this shit is gonna be over with. This ride gonna be done. That the 28-year span that I dealt with it'll be over with. So it hasn't really settled in just yet, to be completely honest with you. I still find myself having them like spontaneous outbursts of excitement. Like, damn, I'm really free. Off paper, I can go anywhere now. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I didn't have a problem going nowhere before, but that looming threat of maybe getting pulled over or having some police contact somewhere was there. Now it's gone. Outside of being a black man in America and having police contact, but the added stressors of being on parole and being a black man in America is gone.
Yeah, so you really not you out here, but you're not free to be yourself just yet. And that's them two complete different worlds. And
so when
a lot of people don't understand that.
When you say that, right, I think about me sitting in there, and they made me. I didn't do much time, right, but they made me do all my time. I had paper crimes, but they made me do in Washington. They made me do all my time. They didn't give me no work release. They didn't give me no house arrest, no nothing. And then a week before it was time for me to get out, they came back and they said they sent letters to my house, and they said because of your crimes do not warrant supervision. So I walked out of prison free.
That's a beautiful thing.
Free, because I thought about Wisconsin. I never wanted to do anything in Wisconsin. Nothing. Because I knew Wisconsin was one of them states, man, where they'll have you hung for 100 years, and you'll be free, but be still incarcerated
Under the gun.
Under the gun. So I never wanted to do nothing out here.
I remember my cousin told me when I was in the county jail with my cousin. I was 15, he was 25. And he told me, like, he predicted everything. He said, well, they're not going to give you a bunch of time as a sentence in prison. He said, but what they're going to do is, because you're so young, they're going to give you enough time to hang yourself, because what's going to happen is they know that you're 15, and they know you bound to make a mistake within the next 2-3 years, let alone 20. And that's exactly what happened. That's exactly what happened.
And they use that right. Right.
Yeah, I hear you loud and clear, Brad. It's amazing to me too. Like us as the people, one of the things that we do is we free from shit. Whether it's in business, whether it's in education, whether it's in the prison system. You know, you saying that you wanted to be 42 so bad so you can get off paper speaks to the urgency of you being fully free, man. And so, you know, I heard that loud and clear, but I kind of want to backpedal a little bit.
Okay.
Because you kind of said something about your childhood. And so knowing what you went through at the age of 15 lets me know that you're familiar with the system putting you through the school to prison pipeline, man. So what was your childhood like, man? Share that with us, man. What was that like?
It was pretty unique, man. I was born in Lawton, Oklahoma. I was an Army brat. We moved from Lawton to Monterey, California, from Monterey to Anchorage, Alaska, and then from Anchorage to Milwaukee. So when I got here, I was about 7 years old. And I didn't like it because, you know, as I said before, man, familiarity breeds contempt. So I didn't like it because it was unfamiliar. And I missed my school, I missed everything. But, you know, we moved here in 1988 at the height of the crack epidemic. And my father, man, was one of those guys where he was the dude that the guys wanted to be and the women wanted to be with. He was the only black man to win a gold medal with Korea in Taekwondo. He lost to Mark Breland, who threw the towel in for Deontay Wilder against Tyson Fury in the second fight in the '84 Olympic trial. He never went pro boxing because he was under contract with the military. So, you know, my dad was my hero.
I remember you sharing.
Yeah, that was my guy, and he wound up developing an addiction, and it tore the family apart. They got divorced in '92, where it was finalized in '92, and I was torn because I'm hearing my mama speak negatively about my dad based on her experiences with him as a man and as a person, as a human being. I didn't have that frame of reference because this is just my dad. This is the person who I looked up to, who I wanted to emulate, who I wanted to please, and all of these different things. But he was in his addiction. So as a 9 to 10-year-old kid, I couldn't wrap my mind around somebody disliking him because I know the person that I know. So yeah, and so, you know, so I would do things in the neighborhood, like I go steal some money from somebody, and I would tell my mom my dad gave it to me. Just because the intent was to have her see him in a more positive light. Yep. And of course it didn't work, but yeah, so like that became a thing between the ages of 9 to 10 years old until I was 15 when I went to prison. And you know, my mama would always, she was speaking her true feelings to me about him. And he would never do that. Whether it was a manipulation tactic or not, but I don't know what it was, but he would always tell me, like, you know, man, tell your mama I love her. And I would go home and say, Mom, my dad said he love you, whatever. And she would say, fuck your daddy, he ain't shit. Because that anger was so raw and so fresh that she couldn't imagine saying something positive about him to me or anybody else. As a 10, 11-year-old kid, all I heard was the words, and I linked it with negativity. So it caused confusion because I was like, well, I don't understand why you don't like him. I saw what was happening, but I had no idea or no way in my mind as a kid to make the correlation between what was happening and my emotional state. So I was like, well, okay, I'm gonna just go down to the neighborhood with my daddy, and that became the thing. That's pretty much when Brad was born. Cause I got my name from my little cousin. My real name is Brandon, but my mama called me Brad, and my cousin couldn't say Brad, he would say Brad. But I embodied it like 100% Brown Street, everything that had to do with the streets in the ghetto when I was 13, 14, because I wanted my mom to see my dad in a positive light, and I wanted to be with him more because everybody was judging him, treating him wrong, talking bad about him. I felt like I could bring y'all back to see who he really is as a person.
No, that's 100. That's 100.
So so when you say that, right? So last week we was talking, and I want to interrupt and just say one thing because it's Father's Day. Happy Father's Day to all you brothers, man.
Absolutely.
Happy Father's Day, man. Happy Father's Day, dude.
Appreciate
Happy
it.
Father's
Same
Day,
to you,
man.
man. Same to
You
you.
know, so when you say that, right?
Thank you, man.
I'm going through a situation that we talked about last week that was pressing me because I got a son that I love.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And I did some fucked up shit and put myself in a fucked up space,
Yeah.
right? And my son no longer wants to deal with me, right? So to hear you sit up here and say, man, your dad had an addiction, and your mama talked bad about him, but you still desire to be with him. You know what I'm saying? Because you remember the good in him when nobody else could see that. See, that's what I be praying for my son, is that he can see the good, because we had an amazing relationship. You know what I'm saying? So I'm hoping that he can see the good that his dad was, and know that his dad is on point now. You know what I'm saying?
I believe that he will.
Yeah, I think
Everything you ever gave him was gems, because the heart don't lie. It be them grown-ups, them adults that lie.
Yeah.
So if all you ever planted was gems, that's there.
I
gotta
planted
trust,
gems,
you gotta
but
believe.
I hurt him.
Yeah.
I hurt him, you know. I hurt him, and I know it hurt you. It hurt you when your dad took that fall, you know.
You know, it was really rough because so I'm a huge Tupac fan, like Pop was my be all end all. You know what I'm saying?
Come on, that's that. Let's go.
Yeah. And I remember I had every, at the time it was tapes. I had every tape. You know what I'm saying? That Pac had dropped. I had every tape that he was featured on, all these different things, tape cases and shit.
Come on.
And I remember my mama, I had did something, man, and my mama was like, I'm done with it, I can't take it no more. You gotta go. So I left, I went down there. I mean, for me, I was great because now I could be with my dad all the time. You know what I'm saying? So, but now I'm able to see things for what they are as opposed to having snapshots. You know, it's kind of like being in a joint where the people you love come see you and they get glimpses of who you are, but they want to see the person that they remember. And it's not always there because you're in a state of constant evolution.
Yeah.
So when I moved down there with him, I realized the hardship, the reality of what was going on and how it was happening to him. And he stole from me. He stole from me a lot. And I didn't care about nothing but my tapes. That's all I cared about. You know what I'm saying? And he stole my tapes one day. All of them. And I remember he put a Marvin Gaye tape in, at the time I didn't really care about Marvin Gaye. Now I love it. You know what I'm saying? But I'm 14. He put a Marvin Gaye tape in the tape case to my Me Against the World. And when I went to listen to Me Against the World, it was Marvin. I was pissed. Bless you. I was pissed. So he made up a backstory to somebody broke because he had a room built. He built a room off the wall in the basement at my grandma's house. And he said somebody broke in there last night. He said, so if anything you missing, don't say nothing. First thing I went to see was my tapes. They was gone. I said, this motherfucker stole my shit, man. I couldn't believe it. You know what I'm saying? So I went looking for whoever had them. Of course I didn't find them.
It knocked him off the square.
Yeah. And then
it's all our pops.
I think the ultimate betrayal for me at that time, I understand it more now because I'm an adult and I'm rational, is, when I got arrested, my cousin went to jail first and he told on me. And then my dad knew where I was because I was always of the school of thought that somebody got to know where I am at all times. Even that, just in case anything happens, somebody can say, I'm going to go where he is. So, I told my dad where I was, which wasn't far from the neighborhood. And the police came to the neighborhood, several cars deep, and he brought them to me. He brought them to me because they told him they had me labeled armed and dangerous. Now I'm 15. So a couple of years prior to this, my cousin's dad, he got killed by the police. So my dad was thinking, so I'm not thinking this at the time. But now I understand he wanted to be the mediator. And that buffer between the police and me. And he did that. And so he brought the police to me.
Turn it up.
What'd you say,
turn it
D?
up.
No, yeah. So he brought the police to me, and that's how I wound up getting caught. The thing that bothered me, it still bothers me to this day because I don't really understand it, was when they told him, well, you could come downtown with him because he is a minor. He told him. Now I emphasize it is addiction because the person I know would have came with me.
Yeah, you do that.
But he was under the influence. He was like, well, I got something to do. And he walked away from the police car. And the shit broke my heart. I'm talking about to this day. Like, that's probably one of the only things that I can think of off the bat right now that'll make me emotional because I would never get the answer. Because he ain't, so my pops, he's 66. He's a military guy. You know, they trained him to kill. He's not an emotional person at all. So he won't talk to you. And so I've never gotten the dialogue that I wanted about that situation, which prompted me to learn how to be the person who can talk to people, who can be spoken to. So now it balances me out as a human being because I have both sides. But over time, it that same situation that hurt me amplified the love that I have for him because he always been there for me, even in the times where I shouldn't have been doing what I was doing. So he came through and made sure that the situation went as smoothly as it possibly could have went because I did have a gun on me. And, you know, so, yeah, so he could have left me completely.
D, what was you about to say?
No, I wasn't gonna say nothing.
Oh,
I wasn't saying nothing. I'm listening.
yeah, but that's
I got
that.
a question though now.
Go ahead,
So
go ahead.
As a man, right? Having that open home, as an open soul, just for all the men out there, especially for the fathers of this Father's Day,
Yeah.
and for men, period. Because just like, you know, women and men alike, man, we carry wounds that don't bleed. How do you cope? How do you cope with a wound that you always carry and one that you can't patch up, but it's always bleeding? How did you cope with that throughout your life, and how are you coping with that today?
So it's kind of like, you know, you being in prison and you realize that you have to be comfortable with things you can't control. You know, somebody can tell you something and they may not follow through. And it broadens your perspective on the human condition for one, because most people have good intentions. So they say things in the moment that they really mean in the moment, but it's another version of that person that follows through. You know what I'm saying? So I came to the point where I said, you know, at least he's still here, and I can
You have 1 minute left.
I can build a relationship with him now. So even though it bothers me, I don't harp on it because I still can pick up the phone and talk to him, and I can go hang out with him. I just got off the phone with him about 15 minutes ago. So yeah, like, you know, we talk every day all the time, and so I'm grateful for that. So I don't really focus on it too much. I'm just able to talk about it because, you know, at some time I wasn't able to talk about
We
it.
need you to call back.
Yeah, we're going to end it right there for this question, and then we're going to come back with another.
Okay.
I got 2 questions already. Like, I got a full clip in my head, man. I got 2 going. I'm ready for it.
Bet.
Hey,
No.
because D said D couldn't. He was so geeked about the hot seat. He like,
Yeah.
man, throw me in that hot seat. Like,
Yeah,
hey, he ready for the hot seat, and that's where a lot of
Yeah, that's not type of shit right there. You know why? Because it's real.
Yeah,
That's not
yeah,
that
yeah.
stage shit, man.
Yeah.
Right.
I like real shit. I don't like the stage.
Yeah, for sure.
right.
For sure. That makes sense though.
Yeah, so you're going to get it. You're going to be the first in the chair.
right, man.
It's waiting for you.
Yeah, we on there. I'm ready for it.
We doing this. We going. We on right now. You know, so what you got for him?
Man, well, just speak to how your transition from prison to getting out here and on your path to being successful. Because in my eyes, you're successful.
Right.
You know, you out here. For us, it's a success to just not go back to prison.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
and when you've been out here as long
That's
as you
scary,
have, yeah. You got off paper. That's one thing, but just nobody really sees the consistency of how hard it is to do what you did, what you accomplished. So the transition for me, I know it's been challenging.
Yeah,
It's always you be
exciting.
yeah.
It's been real exciting. Like, I
Yeah,
love
so-
watching him. Like, it makes me feel good to be able to be there because I'm living vicariously through him all over again while I'm living my own excitement at the same time. So it's something special. But I'm gonna tell you something though, man. I was real cautious to not allow me getting out to be my highlight.
Come on.
You know what I'm saying? Because I didn't have a party, a coming home party. I waited a year to have a party because I said I wanted to have something to celebrate. I know I'm getting out. I knew I was getting out, so it was just a matter of when. So I made sure that that's not the highlight. A lot of times people become so fixated with getting out that complacency settles in before they even realize it. And they wind up on the hamster wheel. And they wind up in a rat race of doing normal shit. My life has been the exact opposite of normal thus far. Why would I stop that?
Come on.
You know what I'm saying? So when I came home, I had written down so many things. I had so many directions to go, and I'm gonna give you an example. I went to Macy's to get a pair of pants. And I'm thinking, we in the joint, I get a pair of Levi's, I'm gonna just leave, we good. I got to Macy's, there was so many pairs of Levi's, I was paralyzed, and I just left. I thought, I don't know what to get. And I hit it. And I had to make sure that didn't happen in my life. Because too many options can cause a paralysis in decision making.
Yeah.
And I didn't want to do that.
You don't know what you want.
So I said, hey, listen, I got a list. I'm going to check this shit off.
Come on, man.
I'm going to check it off.
He putting it on paper.
And I checked off everything except for one thing. And the reason I didn't check off that one thing, which was going back to school, is because my perception of education changed.
You know something, brother? I just want to tell you how proud I am of you, man. You know why? Because I tell everybody, man, it don't mean shit until you put it on paper, man. Because when you put it on paper, you got something to build off of.
Yeah, and I would go back and check it off. So, man, and now everything else that happened, the clothing line, the book, all of that shit wasn't on the list.
Come on.
That was just me meeting people, them sparking new ideas. They say the greatest beauty lies in uncharted corners of your own existence.
Come on.
So I didn't see certain things in myself that other people did.
Yeah.
So I started to view myself through their lens.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, well, damn, maybe I am able to do some of the stuff that they believe I can do.
Mm-hmm.
Then I became an unofficial representative of the guys I left.
Come
It's
on.
kind of like if we all go to China right now, they don't got no experience with black people, American black people. We are the representatives of American black people for them.
Right.
So I became an unofficial representative of the guys I just left.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, it's a huge responsibility and it's a huge weight, but I'm up for the challenge. And I said, hey, if I fuck up, Lucky might not come home.
Come on. See, he was talking about that last week. And he said, man, it's important for people to get out and be successful.
Yes.
When they get out. Don't just get out and just be a regular old nigga.
No.
Be successful.
Yeah.
Right? So, man, what you doing?
I'm going to tell you what happened, bro. Honestly, that I realized. So the crime bill fucked us all up. We know this.
Yeah.
This is no secret. We know this now. Clinton came out and apologized. Joe Biden didn't, but they still voted for him. And that's his cohort from years ago. But what the crime bill did was it inadvertently created, in the midst of damaging families and ruining a generation of people, but it inadvertently created a generation of entrepreneurs. Because think about this, I came home, my biggest challenge was housing. I said, fuck y'all, I bought a house. I had the money, I bought a house, right? It was a little red tape, but I still bought a house. Most people say, but I can't find a job. They started businesses, especially after COVID when we realized ain't no job security. It's like, oh shit. So y'all fucked us up in the beginning. Scarface once said, fuck how you start, you finish strong in the end. And that's how it works. So I tell people, man, the greatest thing that you can do is believe in yourself.
Come on.
That shit is a superpower.
Come on.
It's a superpower, and it creates confidence, it creates a know-how, and it creates the ability to act and not just think about the shit that you want to do. Because when you believe, look, man, we weren't taught to believe in ourselves the way we were taught to believe in other people. We weren't even taught to love ourselves the way that we were taught to love other people. We learn to do that shit after we fuck up a little bit. I'm gonna put myself first. You know, it's me. Fuck all of that shit.
And people call you selfish when
Yeah.
you think about yourself.
Yeah.
But how can I love you the right way if I don't know how to love myself?
Exactly. So I said, you know what? It was 2010. I had like 6 years left. I didn't even know how much time I had left. But it was 2010 when my mind shift happened. I said, oh shit. My cousin didn't tell him I gave him something to tell. Everything became accountability, ownership. It was all I statements. I fucked up. I played into their hands. The system is the system. It's not broken.
No.
It's just not designed to work for us.
And if we get in play, they're going to take it.
If you come to my house right now, you are governed by my rules. You don't smoke in this motherfucker. You don't walk on my carpet with your shoes on. You don't eat shit without permission. You know how long it'll take for you to change that? You can live with me for 20 years. I might bend on some things just a little bit. They bend on some things with legislation.
Yeah.
We don't always get what we want. You know what I'm saying? So it's that type of shit, man. Once you realize what it is and not what you want it to be, they fucked us up. They've been fucking us up for years. That ain't the problem. The problem is you think it's gonna change.
But you know what's crazy about that? This used to blow me away. It's because you will have 240 of the toughest dudes in the joint, right? In on A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H tier, right? Yeah. And two little scrawny guards, COs, could tell everybody what to do. Yeah. Ain't that crazy?
That shit bothered me because I didn't want to be the one. So I didn't want to sacrifice myself because a lot of times, we get caught up in the rah-rah. Man, let's take over this motherfucker. Niggas be like, bet. When it's time to move, man, hold on, I got a business coming Saturday, man. Yeah. I don't know about that shit.
But
let's do it Sunday. No, motherfucker, today was the day. You know what I'm saying? You want to fuck that shit. Hey, he out. When Che Guevara and Castro, when they overthrew Batista in 1959, it was 15 of them motherfuckers.
Yeah.
Batista and them thought that it was a lot of them because they was in the Andes Mountain. They was kidnapping his men and converting them to their side, taking their guns and shit. So what they did was they built numbers during the Cuban Revolution, and Batista said, "Fuck it, we gotta go." Because that self-belief I talked about earlier helped them take over a whole fucking country.
But see, the crazy thing to me, right? Oh, go on, D. Go on, D.
I got a question, Brad.
Okay.
Man, because I hear you saying a lot, man, and you're speaking with a mouthful. I mean, it's insightful and it's educational. How do you see, about a future from a political standpoint? Because you said earlier, and I quote, being black, bro, American. How do you feel about us from a political standpoint? Where are we sit at? What do we need to know? Where are people offset when it comes to all this stuff, economically, Christian incarceration, all this stuff, man? Where do you feel we're at?
Well, first and foremost, we live in a capitalistic country. We know this. But we call people materialistic.
Come on.
And which is kind of oxymoronic because whatever. But first and foremost, local politics is important. We spend too much time worried about national politics, and the trickle down to where we are is so slow that we don't really feel it for a long time. Mm-hmm. So, get with your alderman. Find out who your alderman is, first of all. Find out who your alderman is. Find out who your mayor is. Get with the mayor, the governor, and then so on and so forth. Don't worry about D.C. unless you're in D.C.
Yeah, I don't worry about all that.
But to build an economic base is and should be our most important priority right now. Because we know, well, for those of us that don't, money is a tool to leverage positions in life, whether it's socially, whether it's educationally. All of these things go back to money. Whether you investing in the community, it all goes back to money. They talk about the federal grants and the other stipends that people that certain businesses get. It all comes back to money. And when you know what to do with the money, as opposed to trying to make Sid look bad or make Lucky look bad, you can shine on me all you want. They watching us both, motherfucker.
Come on, we can. It's enough for everybody.
So the reality of it is this: when you build a sound economic base,
it definitely sounds like Brad be echoing some point. it's like I swear to God, I was having the same conversation. Me and Sid talk a lot. We talk every day. We kick it, and I mean, it's things that you're saying. I'm hearing.
Yeah.
I heard it before.
Yeah.
Perhaps I said it. Perhaps you said it.
Yeah.
These are the conversations that we've been having these last few days.
See, because look, man, without money, we can't do nothing.
But you know something? You know what's funny with me? Is I used to spend so much time focused on money, and I could never get the money that I was trying to get.
Yeah.
And as soon as I said, you know what? I ain't worried about the money no more. I'm worried about purpose.
Yeah, because it's a byproduct.
And then when I started focusing on purpose, it's like the money just started finding me.
Yeah.
I walk someplace and I go talk to somebody about something else, and they're like, "Hey, I'm gonna give you some money." I'm like, "Huh?"
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
So,
because then the purpose, like you say, the purpose changes. See, a lot of times people want money to spend it.
yeah.
Oh man, I need some cash so I can go to the mall. I need some cash so I can buy me this or buy me that. When you realize that money is a resource, like I said, to leverage positions in society and to put other people in good positions and us as a whole, then you start to live in your purpose and the money starts to come. That's just the reality of it.
Hey D, let me ask you something. I got a question for you, man.
I'm like,
What do you feel has you stuck today? Like, if anything has you stuck today, because I know you keep a lot of shit on your mind. I like hearing you unravel some shit. So, if something had you stuck today, like you couldn't get moving like you want to, what is it? What got you stuck?
man, I would have to say, man, learning to believe in people, man. Like I'm not, and this is grand space, so I'm gonna keep it concise, man, in a vacuum. I don't, man, when it comes, I'm so independent. A lot of my success has come from being independent, even though I'm incarcerated. I got my own thoughts, my own mind. Before I got locked up, man, I was out front, man. I was in front of my situations for it. I've always been a leader, man, but the things I've been through in my trauma, it puts me in isolated spaces with human beings. But I've seen a lot happen. I done lost my friends. A lot of death has took place. And so I've learned to create this guy who doesn't need anybody. And it injures me. That injures me, man. It sometimes hurts me because I'll get the plug out the motherfucking wall, man. You won't ever hear from me again. I won't give a fuck. But that's not good. That's not human. It's not real. It's not humanizing. Everything we need as human beings, man, it comes in the hands of another person. I gotta learn to deal with people, even when they get weird, when they change, when they don't think like me, when they don't do it my way, all that, man. So that's just to keep it brief, man. Just dealing with people, man. I don't like feeling like I'm being attached or dragged or somebody pulling something over my head, using me, passive aggressive. All that. I check out real quick when a person makes me feel like I'm in a vulnerable position or I need them, and I gotta get rid of that. I gotta deal with that. Because when I come home, the biggest asset to a man or a human being on earth, even a dog, an animal, you gotta know how to ask for assistance, man. You gotta have that.
Yeah, you know what, D, I agree with that. I think, yeah. I agree with that. And I think what set me on the path to learn vulnerability was making music. Because I always sought to be as genuine as I possibly could. And in my writing, if I felt like it was a facade that was there, I didn't like the shit. You know what I'm saying? So it was like going to the gym. When you work a muscle, when it strengthens it strengthened my self-awareness. And it strengthened, like I worked at a time, there was a time where I worked at saying out loud to people, "You right, I'm wrong."
Yeah.
Because that was such a hard thing for me to say. I was just conceived without saying, "You right." I just be like, "Fuck it, I ain't gonna talk to you no more." You know what I'm saying? But me and my homeboy had a back and forth. It wasn't caustic or nothing, but we had a back and forth for about 2 years. He's 10 years older than me, so of course his perspective was different than mine. But as a young man, you think you got some of the best ideas in the world. And sometimes we do, but at this time I didn't. He said to me, we was on the track walking, and he's like, man, this shit just like school. So how I heard it, I'm like, bullshit. You can walk away from school. This is how I was thinking. So, but he was adamant about this prison shit being the same as school. I'm like, no. But because I respected him so much, I wanted to know what he meant.
It's the same institution.
So I went into myself and into other books and other things to figure out what the fuck is he talking about.
It's the same institution.
And I said, oh shit. School, prison, military, it's all created by the same system. It's all the same shit.
Check this out. This is gonna mess you up, right? So when you look at a high school, right? The old school high school, right? They was the big brick building. Like you go to Green Bay or Waupun, it's got the brick building in the front. But guess what else the school has around it? It has a fence around it to keep you in and to keep people out, right? That's an institution. It's got a yard on there. They got the big yard on there. Everything. They just transformed it.
But I made sure I went back to him and said, dog, I think I woke him. He was told, I think I woke him up. Like, dog, listen, come here. He's like, what the fuck you want now? I said, man, because I was working through some shit. I'm growing. You know what I'm saying?
When you say all that, right? I'm an isolated person, man. Lucky is I've been out, like I said, I'll be out a year on the 7th of July, right? Lucky is the only person that's been in my house, man.
Right.
You know, he's the only person that knows where I live.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because I just stayed to myself, and I think that was it's safety. You know what I'm saying? But you know, I want to say this something else to what you said, right? And what D was saying last week. We were talking about business and owning stuff, right? And just taking care of yourself, right? It's like, man, like 15 to the streets is gonna pop because Lucky and D and myself and people like you know what I'm saying, just coming on and being supportive. But man, it's like we sitting here today, man, on the rooftop, the HQ. You know what I mean? And this ain't what we normally do.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But we here, and we, you know, it's not impossible. It's really not impossible. No. It's just you just got to get out yourself and just think bigger. Like, you know, I'm gonna share something about this dude, man. So we was driving, and this dude, he said, man, I want to live on the lake. And I said, well, how much is the house? He said, man, it's $250,000. I said, man, that ain't nothing, right? And he was thinking it was a lot of money, right? So we sit back and we drive, and we continue to drive on. And then he said, man, you know something? He said, I got to start thinking like you. And he said, because see, I thought it was a lot of money, and you said it wasn't nothing like and he knows he makes good money. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? It's just our comfort zone is so down here that we can't even think up here. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And when you put it together, it really ain't that hard. Because I think about, you know, Intellectual Mind studio. That studio is bomb. And when you see this building, I feel like I'm in New York when I go to her building. You know what I'm saying? It's dope.
It do got that uptown.
Come on, man.
Bronx type feel.
It's got that Manhattan feel.
Like what you just said though made me think about something. The stuff that we go through as a people, mainly black men, because you know they incarcerate black men at an alarming rate. It's always been going on, and it happens so frequently in our neighborhood that we don't even see it as a unique thing. There was a time when somebody said, man, he just came home. We didn't think to do prison all the time. Now if I say, man, your dog just came home, and ain't nobody saying from where. So I think we have to realize how unique and special our stories are and start talking about it just to help other people, because you know you never know who's listening. And even though it's common, it's just as uncommon as it is common. It's uncommon on the world stage, but common in our neighborhood. And it's sad because we tend to think that we don't have anything to offer just by saying, hey, they locked me up at 15. 21 or whatever.
50.
I survived at 50. You know what I'm saying? So that alone, man, it's not always prison. It's a hardship sometimes that serves as the defining moment to your life. You can say my life was like this up until that point, and it hasn't been this way since. For some people, it's childbirth. For some people, it's a promotion at work. For some people, it's a car accident or relocating. You know, and then for a lot of us guys, it's prison because life is never the same. It's never like it was once you come home and you start to see things for what they are.
See, and I want to thank you, bro, because you know, you are the epitome of what D was saying about people need to get out of prison and be successful. Because, and then when you start talking about politicians and getting connected with your local politicians, those are the things that make change in this world. You know what I'm saying? So man, thank you, brother.
I appreciate you
for everything you doing for
I
me,
appreciate you
for
too.
Lucky, for the community, man, for this world, man. And so give up your, you know, I see you got the merch on, man.
We got Power Purpose Principle. So I'm gonna tell you how this started. So I had a show. Y'all make music too. I had a show a few years ago, and I was looking for something to wear. But you know, my whole thing was I don't want to look like nobody else. So I bought a Letterman jacket, and I said, because I know them motherfuckers come in multiple colors. So I got a Letterman jacket. It was black and gold, and I put Brad FacTs on it. I put a bunch of other stuff on there. And I went to the show, I performed, and somebody was like, man, hey, where you get that jacket from? I didn't really know what to say. I'm like, because it wasn't for sale. I was just doing this for tonight.
You.
Yeah. So then that evolved into me selling the Letterman jackets to other people and putting my logo on there. I had a logo created, put my logo on there, which is the 3 P's, Power, Purpose, and Principle, and putting their initial on one side and then putting whatever else they wanted on there. And I'm like, shit, it got hot. I said, I ain't gonna wear no Letterman jacket for summertime, so what else can I do? So I think I'm gonna do some t-shirts. So it kind of snowballed into something. But it wasn't until about a year ago where I said, you know what, this shit can be something. You know what I'm saying? It can be something. So I stopped buying all the designer shit. I started investing in the company. I got the LLC to the 3 P's, the brand, and I structured it and I created a theme that is mine and ours. So when you wear a shirt that says principle or power, purpose, or principle, it represents whatever your principles are. And when I wear it, it represents whatever my principles are. So it's all inclusive, no matter where you're from, what walk of life you come from, or where you're going. So yeah, man, it became a thing, and I was like every small milestone, every large milestone too. It's like, damn. I think about the guys we left, man, because I be like, damn, you know, I do it for them. I do it for the men and the women that can't do it no more, and that's where I am with it. I took Lucky to see the fireworks a couple years ago. Me and Lucky.
Man, that was like the best four.
And we had a ball, right? We kicking it, and Luck was so excited. I don't know if you remember this. Look, he was so excited that he turned around and looked at me when the Big Bang happened, and he missed it. But I was recording though.
But you got it.
Yeah, I was recording. And he turned back around like, it's over. I'm like, yeah, you just missed it looking at me like that. Because he was wrapped up in the moment and, you know, in the euphoria of the moment. And I got caught up in the euphoria of seeing him be caught up in the euphoria of the moment. And now, like, it's just, you know, I'm greatly appreciative, man, to even be able to just sit here. Because it was a time, it was real touch and go. It was like, shit, it was all day rooms and rec yards.
Yeah,
right.
That's
why
Yeah.
it's a pleasure for me to, hey, listen, when I knew I could be in a position to bring you up
Yeah.
in any kind of way, that's
Sure.
to me, that's what friendship is. Like
Yeah.
people, it's thrown around too loosely because a lot of people don't live up to that expectation of friendship. Now there's an expectation there. Like you can't call me your friend and be lying to me. You know what I'm saying? You can't call me your friend and be using you. You can't call me your friend and be taking advantage of me. You know what I'm saying? Don't call me and hold me down. When you lifting somebody up, when it ain't got nothing to do with you, you just doing it out of, you know, it's on some love.
Yeah, because if I push you up the hill, I'm coming 2 feet behind you.
Yeah,
'cause
I'd
that's
rather-
You know,
15
we
to the
still
street.
gonna get there.
That's what I'm saying, and it's just real. That's why that's the pleasure in it for me. So,
Hey, Brad, I just want to share,
Yeah.
you know, 15 to the streets, right? You know what it's about, right? So a phone call from prison is 15 minutes, and that's your lifeline to the street. You know what I'm saying? And we all know what it's like
100%.
to be on that 15-minute phone call,
Yeah.
on that pay phone, and sitting there like,
This shit get good when it say 1 minute remaining.
1 minute remaining.
Damn.
And
When
then
you
you
hang
gotta-
up and thinking, I should have said this.
You
it's
know?
always, man, I knew I had to say something. I forgot to say something.
Yeah.
Or even before it hang up,
Yeah.
when it's like, man, I feel like I'm forgetting to tell you something.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
you know, they jump
No,
straight
now,
out there.
hey, you get to write notes of what you want to say to the person, so that you make sure you get all your points out when it's important.
I had a phone call one day, well not one day, but in the county jail up and way up in Violence County. It was a 20-minute phone call. I called so many people
In that 20 minutes.
in that 20 minutes because I had everything what I wanted to say written down. I'm talking for a minute and 30 seconds.
Come on.
Check this out. Don't take no breaths. Just say what you got to say. Bam, let me call somebody else. I worked the shit out there 20 minutes, man. I swear I did.
Come on, man.
I called everybody, man.
The last thing I want to say before we clock this out is, brother, I heard your music. Where can we find you? And hold on, before we get to all that, I need to know where we can find you on all your platforms. But I'm asking you because he didn't already throw through the live to me, and I'm dunking.
You know, I be shopping because he's an artist. We businessmen. Like,
but we need a hook for this video, man, for this podcast, man.
I can do it.
We need a hook for this podcast, man.
I can do it.
I appreciate that.
I definitely can, for real. Man, no doubt.
Hey, listen, when black people engage and do business with each other, it can't nothing but really fruits grow from
Come
that.
on, that's it. So give us your every platform.
Man, YouTube, Brad Facts, always capitalize the T, BRADFAC, capital TS. Brad Facts on Instagram, underscore Brad Facts on Instagram, Brad Facts on Facebook, Brandon A. Jordan on LinkedIn, Brad Facts on Twitter, well, X now, you know. Brad Facts on TikTok. I'm Brad Facts everywhere. You can tap in with the brand page too, which is underscore 3Ps the brand on Instagram. Again, underscore 3Ps the brand on Instagram. And I'm here to rep Milwaukee the right way. For all of us, man, for anybody that don't believe you can do it, whatever that it is, I'm here to tell you that you can. You can.
Come on, man. Thank you, brother. 15 to the Streets is out. Go, man.
Man, I appreciate you, man.